Hey guys, Core Ross, and today we're breaking down the GTA 6 trailer. So of course this is the biggest franchise out there and they make it just 20 minutes down the road from where I live. So I'm extremely excited to see this. Now first of all, GTA 6 is going to launch in 2025 and that'll most likely be about October or November of 2025, so about 2 years from now. And that's if there is no delays. And delays have got very common in the gaming industry, so I would not be surprised if this actually gets pushed back. But Rockstar is a little bit different. They do take their time and they really don't rush their launches. Like, of course, GTA 6 has been in development for a very long time. So let's jump in and break this down. And I'll start with the new characters. So we've got a female and a male kind of main characters. I presume you might be able to switch between them just like you can in current GTA, and they seem to work as a duo. They've got quite kind of default looks, but I assume that's because you can, of course, customize them to your heart's content with haircuts, with clothes, and do whatever you want. Then when it does come to the variety, I'm going to jump into the beach shot, which just looks amazing. I love the variety in bodies, outfits, and just overall, this looks really freaking cool. And then the city itself is also gorgeous and looks to be huge. Because right now in current GTA we've got skyscrapers right in the middle, but there is only basically a handful of skyscrapers with a few other tall buildings around it. And this looks like we've actually got a proper city when it comes to the scale of it. So I am super looking forward to jumping into this someday. Now, I don't know how good the actual graphics will be when this launches. Of course, it's going to run on current generation consoles. They're probably not going to have graphics that look like this. I would imagine the render distance will be a little bit lower, and even on PC, you're probably going to need a pretty high-end PC to play it at these kind of levels of graphics. But certainly, beautiful to look at, and of course, love jumping into it in the future. And because it is 2 years away, it is possible that when it launches, you might need whatever's launching that year for graphics card to properly get everything out of this game. I would also assume that this is most likely going to run at 30 FPS on current gen consoles. They may have performance modes, but the thing with Rockstar is they don't usually do those kind of compromises, so I assume this is going to run at 30 FPS on current gen consoles and not look nearly as nice as this, probably not run at native resolution either. And then the city itself is Vice City, that is located in GTA's Florida. So it looks at, from the social media posts we get to see, we're very much going to get kind of like Florida man does this, does that on the social media platforms. And I would assume that it is going to have its own in-game social media like a TikTok or Instagram or something like that, where you can watch your videos of what's been going on in the universe, and it looks like it is all the stuff you'd expect to come out of Florida, basically. And yeah, let's jump out to the countryside now, and I think this picture, which I would say isn't looking too in-gamey, I think this is actually a little bit of composition going on here to add all the stuff in entirely. But we've got beautiful roads leading out into this mostly water looking countryside out here with just lagoons and inlets everywhere. Now presumably there will be massive chunks of land as well, but I think this does show that there is going to be a lot of water when it comes to the overall map. But yeah, the roads, I'm going to just be cruising them in the future, can't wait for it. We've got what looks like an old bridge that previously was the bridge that they would use, which is run down, presumably it's got a jump on it that you can get onto it and then drive over. Looks really nice. We've got cargo ships, we've got luxury yachts of all sizes, little farms and houses, and just overall a ton of different things probably to do. There's also a kind of sphere at the back there on the ground in the little island, which looks like one of those radar dishes with a small road going out to it. So lots of little points of interest, lots of potential to do all kinds of things. Like imagine just being able to go on those boats and rob them. Like they look like they're high-end yachts. So being able to go on them and rob them or stuff like that, or steal the cargo ships. Yeah, there's just a ton of potential here, and it looks brilliant. But I do think this top-down shot out of all of them really has a more composite kind of feeling. Like the parallax on the ships and that is not right. It looks like actual 2D things are moving across the screen. So I think it's a composite mostly. Now let's have a chat about activities. So of course our duo can go robbing places, and I would presume some of them will be story-based missions, but also I'm assuming as well you can just jump into any like restaurant and stuff like that and rob it as well. You've got racing, you've got I think quite possibly hunting in here too with like alligators and such. And I would not be surprised if that kind of brings a lot in from Red Dead Redemption when it comes to what you can hunt out in the countryside. There's also racing and pretty much every activity I think you would expect to see in a GTA. So lots of potential stuff to get up to when this game launches. Now let's head back to the city and end this video by breaking down a few last bits. So the city itself is what I'm kind of most excited about. I always love a huge, like bigger than expected city when it comes to a GTA game. And this shot here where we've got the lady in the rooftop pool and we've got this really good view of the city behind her, and it gives us a good sense of scale. So looking at it, it's going to take, I would think, a good 15 minutes to drive from one side to the other if you're, going pedal to the metal. And then when it comes to gameplay, I expect this to be pretty much exactly the same as previous GTA, with just tweaks and improvements here and there. I don't think they'll change the formula much at all. And of course, they're probably going to have a big focus on GTA Online. Now, Online could come a full year later. Like we had previous GTA launches where they would only release on console first and then years later launch it on PC. I think this will be all platform, but I do expect the online part to maybe actually launch a little bit later than the campaign. They've done that before, and I would not be surprised if they do it again. And of course, online is going to make them a lot of money, so I think they'll be doing a lot with the online stuff. And GTA 5 kind of was a bit of a surprise with how the online stuff did and how much money it made, and it was more of a tagged on thing really than being a big proper feature to begin with. So I assume this one's going to launch with a much more of a big focus when, if online does come later, when it hits, it's going to be a huge focus for the game. And we'll see if they're, if they do like good online story content or stuff like that, or if it's just going to be the same stuff where you buy and sell stuff and go off and do missions. But that could be the biggest change overall. So yeah, the first trailer for the next GTA, and it looks sweet. It's going to launch in about 2 years in 2025, and I'm looking forward to it. And I just say take their time. If it comes out later than that, so be it. I'm looking forward to this, and I cannot wait to play it in the future.